Welcome everyone to a very calm with tourists. Today is rather popular cafes in there's barely anyone here today. It's because January is a very quiet time of year for New York City. So join me as we have a chill coffee or ampersand and coffee and I might be mispronouncing this, a Queen Aman. I'm going to pronounce it as some other people pronounce it, Queen Aman, as a densified croissant. Cafe called. I love the views of the covered sky. So welcome everyone. Nice to see you here. Absolutely love days like these today where it's nice and foggy. Unfortunately, there is issues with Facebook, and I was trying to go live on Facebook as well, and I'm unable to do so. Facebook keeps giving me issues. I'll have to figure it out. Usually I just assume things are already going to be working, as they usually are. But with live video, sometimes there's changes, especially with the Facebook platform, and I think Twitch is also not working. So you YouTubers are getting me exclusively this time around. For any Facebookers out there, do let people know that I am live on YouTube. There's a whole lot of pigeons because well, the gentleman who is a customer of these guys has been feeding pigeons like crazy. So we got Bob and Bobettes clamoring to get inside the coffee shop, but we can't today because this coffee shop doesn't allow pets, which is a very demeaning term, I think, for the animal community. Anyway, let's try this out. So this is a Queen Aman. Here's the proper shape. There we go. This is the top. This is on the bottom. It's glazed all around, different from the one that we saw at Dominic and Cell. So let's try this out. Wow. Once you bite into it, it starts sinking in. You start feeling the rush of butter into your veins once you bite into these. This is like if you take 3 croissants and smash it into one. It's quite a croissant party inside here. And then you get the Queen Aman, which, pardon my Celtic pronunciation. So it's a butter rush. I love the glazed sugar on top, so it adds a little bit of crunchiness to it. And it's almost like a creme brulee type of flavor to it because of all the caramelization underneath. Very caramelized. So you might be wondering, why is it so noisy? It's because right behind me is a coffee roaster. Yep, they're literally roasting coffee right behind me, which we're about to try right now. So right now, as I was walking over here, I ended up realizing how many famous places are very empty in January. So January is the best kept secret for any tourists out there who don't want to be amidst the crowds. Come in January in New York City, because I just went to Juliana's. I was very tempted to go Juliana's instead of this coffee shop, and it was empty. There was only like 4 parties in there of 2 people each. So about 8 people were inside the entire restaurant. Cheers. So pour over coffee always has a way more vivid taste to it. We got Bob and his their new best friend of this. Hopefully he has his cart very well covered. We got Cooper, Penny, Frank, Bob, all the constant Bobettes. Here's where they roast. Susan says, "Holy Hitchcock pigeons." So they're roasting coffee here. Oh, here they're bagging the coffee. The woman is bagging the coffee right now. So they bag them in vacuum sealed packages. This is very much in the line with the Japanese modern coffee shop. So it was places like Blue Bottle Roasting Company that actually got their ideas from companies like these, Percent Arabica, which come from Japan. I think it comes from. And this during the summer was packed to the brim. I tried to show it once. It was really, really packed. I managed to show it on like an off day. I went here like on a Monday or something like that. And luckily I was able to get right in. But yeah, it usually gets way too packed with people. So is pour over coffee the same as drip? It is. So it depends on your terms. That's a great question, Susie. If someone can share this with the Facebook Urbanists of the World Facebook group, do let me know. It depends on your terms. So anything that is filtered is filtered coffee. If it's filtered through a filter paper, or if you had grandmothers back in the day that would filter it through a sock, cowboys back in the day would filter with very heavy cloths. That's all filtered coffee. So drip coffee, pour over coffee are all filtered coffees. That means there's no water pressure in them, unlike espresso. So espresso does indeed go through a filter. French press doesn't go through a filter, but they're different. So filtered coffee, it drips down through a filter. You have two kinds of filtered coffees mainly. You have drip coffee, which is coffee that's in a huge canister throughout the entire day, or your typical office coffee, which is also drip coffee in a smaller canister and it's there the entire day. Or you have a pour over coffee, which is usually just 1 cup or 2 or 3 cups meant for immediately drinking right there and then. And then pour overs can be a bunch of them. It could be Chemex, which is kind of it's like a hourglass figure. You can have V60, which is also kind of an hourglass figure as well. You can have AeroPress. You can have so many types of pour overs. But the flavoring here is so good. Ron says, yes, but luckily we are not in Japan. Here in America, it's a lot more lax. Ron, thank you so much for tuning in. Hey, Metalhead, I'm so glad I'm buying a condo in Yonkers and we'll be moving to New York City area. Oh, I'm so glad. That's awesome, Metalhead. And Donald says, sorry you couldn't go live on Facebook. Yes, sorry everyone that I am late. I was trying to go live on Facebook and it isn't working, unfortunately. It isn't working at all. All right, let's have a few more bites of this. Very well made pastry. And I can't wait to go to parts of UK, and I think it's mostly Scotland and maybe Wales that sell the Queen Amman, and they sell it like this huge. But this is like a tinier version. Probably inspired by Dominica and Sal. I like it. It's a nice tinier version, but still like a lot of pastry. So we have a wedding going on. Lots of wedding and engagement photographs taken here. Zena says, I like your ring. Oh, I'm so glad you like my ring. Thank you, Zena. Is March a good month to visit in New York City? It is. Luca, I think all months are great to visit in New York City. If you want snow, your highest chances are between January 1st to about March 15th. Sometimes it snows in April, has happened a few times. So the bride had to take some cover. The guy probably could layer up pretty easily with that suit. For the bride, not so much. There we go. The shooting looks not so much fun for the bride, says Andy. Yeah. I remember 1996, I believe it snowed on Easter. Yeah, it snowed a few times in April here in New York City history, yeah. Helen, nice to see you here. I went to New York City in May. It was not really hot. It was getting stressing me out. There's not too much traffic. Not too much traffic. Sandy says, sweethearts. Indeed they are sweethearts. Yeah. So let me know if everyone's ready to walk around. I got a little bit more coffee left. Let me show you one more time how the coffee looks like. There you go. Has a kind of a lighter color to it than you would have with the espresso or Americano. Janina says, cute dogs. Yeah, there's a lot of people who walk their dogs. Many of these areas in New York City, especially areas which are up and coming, has a lot of dog owners nowadays. Din Din says, that's too much for a picture. The shooting looks not so much fun for the bride. Yeah, but it's the memories that count. Sometimes you don't remember the cold, rainy, windy feeling. You remember the photo. Bob is outside. Indeed, Bob is outside, yeah. There's a lot of Bobs outside. Bob and all of his Bobettes are outside. What place are you at in Dumbo? This is a place called And Arabica. But in the front it just has the ampersand symbol, and that's it. Hello Wahid from Iran. Salam alaikum. That'll be you one day with your Scottish bride, says Susie. Susie, so that means I have to remove this ring and put it here. There we go. Bob will be like, these humans are nuts, says Helen. Indeed they are, yeah. All right, anyone, feel free to ask me any last remaining questions about coffee as I finish up these few coffee sips before we continue onward through Dumbo, see the beautiful views. Coffee roasters are no joke. They're very, very loud. Susie says, getting married in the summer, now that's nightmarish. Summer might be nightmarish because of all the heat. Is your pastry sweet? It is sweet, but not overly sweet. So it's not like a donut would be a bit sweeter. If you have a croissant with powdered sugar, that'll be sweeter. So this is more along with like a slightly sweeter croissant. And a little bit more buttery than the regular croissant. Della says, have you ever worked in the coffee shop? No, I never worked in the coffee shop. Never, never, never. I often dreamed about working at a coffee shop when I was in my early 20s, but it isn't for me. I would love to own a coffee shop. I would love to own the coffee shop with someone who loves running the coffee shop. Like Hugh Jackman owns Laughing Man with his partner. Business partner, I forgot his name, really cool guy, and he's the one who really does the operations, but they own it together. I would love to do that at some point in my life. Own a series of coffee shops around the world. Susie says, you should do a day of working in a coffee shop for urbanists. That would be a fun vlog. I saw a vloggers yesterday called Jolly on YouTube. Check them out. They're really, really great. And I was amazed on how they, in essence, have made their own travel show on a YouTube budget. And they'll probably have a bigger budget because they have like 600,000 followers. Why did you put the ring on your wedding ring finger? This is the wedding ring finger on the left. This is not. I put it on the wrong ring. I usually put it on my middle finger. Barb, great question. So I was watching these YouTubers called Jolly, and Jolly do these like travel show vlogs. They're so well produced, and they do stuff like working at some place and such for a day, or doing some crazy thing for a day, or going to some random weird unique location for a day. And I love that kind of idea of a show. All right, having espresso coffee right now in your office, says Patty. That's cool. And Alexander says, I love Jolly. That's awesome. All right, who's ready to walk? I'm all out, no more coffee. That was incredibly satisfying. And now I'm all up, I'm ready to go. Everyone, are you ready to go? Let me know. Or do you just want to sit here and relax? That's always nice to do. I do recommend sometimes to just not keep on going all the time and just relax. Whether you're alone or with someone or with a family, sometimes it pays off to relax. Depends on the family, depends on the someone, but sometimes it pays off to Arabica is the name. So. And we are out. Were you able to hear the music? Do let me know. Sometimes the app is a bit... So here it is. And Arabica. Oh, sorry. I've been calling it and. Maybe it's an ampersand. Oh my god. Percent Arabica. Oh, everyone, I'm so sorry. I was looking at that percentage symbol and just kept thinking of the ampersand symbol. That is clearly a percentage symbol. So I was clearly 100% wrong on the name. It is ampersand. I mean, it is percentage Arabica. So percent Arabica. Thank you so much. So sorry for the the 100% incorrect name before. Skoski says, I love the music. All right, awesome. Thank you, everyone. So that was a great, I love the coffee shop vibes there. It was comfortable, highly recommend going there, grabbing coffee. If it's not summer and super packed with people, it's a nice spot. I gotta close my jacket. Kathy says, fix your hood. Kathy, sometimes not everything needs to be fixed. Hey, Dahlia, hello from Fred's. Hey, Dutch Boss, nice to see you here. Are you in Brooklyn? 21 Awesome. I am indeed in Brooklyn. Yes, I'm in Brooklyn, yo. Marina, nice to see you here. Welcome. Zip up. Make sure that the mic doesn't collide with the jacket. There we go. Texas asks, am I near Peter Luger's? No, I'm not near Peter Luger's at the moment. All right, there we go. I'm all ready. Bring your scarves, ladies and gentlemen, when you're visiting New York City during this time of year. Patty says, I'm having an orange and cranberry muffin with my coffee. I love espresso. I'm so glad. That's a great combination. I no longer really have a coffee without a pastry. Always have to have a pastry with my coffee or some type of little bite. Usually a pastry. Hey, JR, welcome. Let's cross. What is with the police line barrier? I'm not entirely sure. I guess because they don't want people parked there. I think that's the case. That's why. Andrea says, were you able to check out Percent Arabica's light fixtures? They use empty chemixes. Oh no, I did not check it out. That is, I did not notice that. Oh my god. I mean, I probably captured it while filming inside there just now. But no. Oh, they're using a red door. Oh, that's smart. Using a red door in order to capture a cool photo. Looks like perfect weather for ice cream, says Ron. Isn't every type of weather perfect for ice cream? Hello, Shulio. Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you too, Shulio. Are there no ferries running now? Let's see. What happened to the ferry landing? So, ladies and gentlemen, there used to be a ferry stop here, but I see nothing. Is this normal? What's happening here? So there's a ferry in 10 minutes to Bay Ridge, Brooklyn. Wow, that's pretty far. And then there's another one to Hunters Point South in Long Island City, 23 minutes away. Darshan says, what were you doing before vlogging on YouTube? Darshan, I came out of the womb live streaming. That's how long I've been doing it. You ever seen The Truman Show? Well, it's based on my life. Oh, there it is. They moved the ferry landing. Because it used to be right here. And there's a ferry right now. So the ferry landing has been moved because it used to be right over here. You would catch it. There's a ferry to Bay Ridge. Yes, Cynthia, there's a ferry to Bay Ridge. Of course, now there's one to Staten Island, but from Manhattan, there's not one yet from Brooklyn. You can catch it to Long Island City, to the Bronx now, and they're going to extend it up the Bronx to the Throg's Neck, which is going to be really cool. That's going to happen in a few months. And then they're going to extend it up to Northern Queens, which actually sounds really exciting because Northern Queens is pretty inaccessible via subway. You have to catch a bus to get there via public transportation. And it's a long and tedious journey to usually get to Northern Queens. That's why I barely have featured it. Featured it a few times a few years ago. Is there a ferry to Scotland? I wish, Susie. How are things, everyone, in the UK? Let me know. How are things in the UK? This one's going to Wall Street over here. So they're just making one stop. There's different lines, and here this is the ER line that goes up and down the East River. Michael says, still no snow. Are you having a mild winter? We are indeed having a mild winter. Robert says they did not move the ferry, they moved the bridge. That's what happened. Chilly today in the UK, says Carol. How are things with the pandemic in the UK in terms of, are things still open? Susie says, unfortunately what? Oh, that there's no snow. Yeah, but there might be on Friday. Stay tuned on Urbanist. Right down there, we see the Staten Island ferry. Staten Island. You gotta say it with a very strong accent. Wow, the ferry just leaving now. Usually the ferry comes in and out very quickly, but it stayed docked here for a little while. The ferries are accessible, by the way, if people are trying to get around. So yeah, pro tip, if you are mobilely impaired and trying to get around the main tourist sites in New York City, it might pay off to go via ferry. It might sound very counterintuitive to do so, but the ferries are very accessible, easy to hop on. Everything is ramped, and there's always attendants there to help you. It's even easier to manage than the bus or even accessible taxis. So if you want to do a day, of hopping around from tourist area to tourist area, namely DUMBO, Long Island City, Wall Street area, 96th Street is very nice to hop off. And basically that's it thus far. Maybe in the near future you'll be able to go to Coney Island. It's a great way to explore New York City accessibly. Of course, once you get to these stops, you won't be able to as easily get around, but I bet you'll be able to see a lot of sights from that perspective. You can. How's it going?
Wait, are you live streaming?
I am indeed live streaming, yeah. What? On YouTube right now.
Wow, how many followers do you have?
We have about maybe 400 people tuning in right now.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
What's good, guys?
What's your favorite part of Brooklyn?
Brooklyn,
The
Food, oh yes.
Wait, what's your YouTube?
Best pizza.
What's your YouTube?
It's Urbanist Exploring Cities.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you do? What do you post?
I explore cities. Yeah,
wow, what's
just
your
like the
favorite
name.
city so far?
What?
What's your favorite city so far?
Right now, London, outside New York, of course.
cool.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Have a good day, guys.
See you guys.
They're all wearing Kith clothes, which cost very expensive. So if you guys don't know, the kids were all wearing Kith, which is very expensive streetwear brand in New York City. So those little hoodies that they were wearing cost like $200, $300. Bella says they probably wanted to do a TikTok. Let's check out the ferry stop over here. Marianne says no school. It is Wednesday. They should be in school. Yeah, they should be. Technically, I think they should be. Because school has, I think, already begun again for most New York City schools. Joseph says those kids must have good jobs. Yep. Those kids are wearing $200 to $300 hoodies. Nope, we got Staten the seagull, and his friend Claude is nearby. Kathy says busted. I think some schools might still be remote. What's the next letter after the next generation, after Gen Z? It'll be Gen Alpha, most likely. I'm not sure, but I bet it'll be Gen Alpha. So the kids said that the best part of Brooklyn is pizza. Yeah, they're not incorrect. It's rough today. So if the river is this rough, the ferry is going to be super slow. And look at the name of the ferry. I love that. Great Eagle. The ferry is going to be super slow, and it's also going to be pretty rough. So do be careful if you have motion sickness on rough water days like these. Marina says, good name. Yeah, Staten the seagull and John Claude, his friend. They're not very nice, though. Just warning. Those two guys, they don't share food. They tend to steal food. Beyond the Matrix says, you need a martini. Why do I need a martini, Beyond the Matrix? when people say on the comments, "Oh, it sounds like you need a drink." Of course, people say that meaning all different things, but it reminds me of whenever one goes on a date, and I've encountered this many times. The date says, "Oh, I think you need another cup of wine," or "I think you need another cocktail." People just want. I assume that happens on dates because people want the person to be looser, to be more kind of open, which usually I don't have an issue with. But I find it very funny when I hear that on comments. I'm like, oh, it sounds just like that. Andrew says you need another bottle of scotch. Maybe once I visit Scotland, the scotch will come out. Oh, they finally opened up this area. It was covered in scaffolding. Oh, this is nice. Oh, Vita, thank you so much for clarifying. Vita says they probably go to Tom's private school, perhaps. They go to a private school, perhaps St. Anne's. Yeah, one of the most exclusive private schools is right nearby, and they are probably not going to class today because it has been canceled due to the big C. Yes. So finally, this was covered in scaffolding for the longest time, and now it's open. Was that Rolls Royce? Yeah, it is. Actually. Are you close to the cat cafe? There's various cat cafes. Which one are you referring to, Gila? There's an older gentleman driving that. Ron says that's the kids' ride. Who knows? Who knows if those kids are the kids of one of those Brooklyn Heights celebrities like Matt Damon. Wedding car, maybe it was for the couple. So finally we can walk underneath the Brooklyn Bridge here at Emily Warren Roebling Plaza, named after Emily Roebling, who was the woman who oversaw the Brooklyn Bridge's construction to being finished. She finalized it on behalf of her husband. This is an awesome public plaza. I love this. Putas says, would like to get some snow in New York City. Me too. Hila says, how about a video from a cat cafe? You know, I have not ever thought of going to a cat cafe. Jose says, I already prepared my espresso cafe. You say espresso? Espresso cafe to enjoy at home. Nice job on the plaza, says Helen. Yeah, New York City has some awesome attractions. It really does. I wish I could touch the Brooklyn Bridge here, but it's fenced off. Hey, food and drama. Hello, Ms. Anzi. Nice to see you here. Café con leche. Ooh, beyond the Matrix. Yes, indeed. Snow is coming with wind. It is. Stay tuned, everyone. Snow might arrive in New York City soon. Stay tuned. This used to be in water, ladies and gentlemen, and now it's on land. This tower. The two towers. No, I'm not talking about the movies from Lord of the Rings, but the two towers here used to be on water. One tower had almost twice the feet of water, of riverbed to go down below. Gila, yes, maybe I'll consider doing a cat cafe. You know, I've always wanted to go to Japan and actually cover a cat cafe, because in Japan, that's where it's really famous. Susie says, is it safe to buy a ticket for Rise New York? I don't know. Susie, let me check. I'm really out of the loop with Rise New York. So Susie's referring to my documentary, which is one of the main features in an attraction right by Times Square called Rise New York. It's apparently open for previews, though I'm not 100% sure if it's fully open. I submitted my final edit and really haven't kept in the loop. But Susie says you already saw people going in. I'll double check on Instagram and I'll get back to you. How long is the Brooklyn Bridge? That's a great question. Always been ready. I actually have done a video on the history of the Brooklyn Bridge. Off the top of my head, I'm not 100% sure. It should be like 3,000 feet long, I think. The span of the Brooklyn Bridge should be around 3,000 feet. Susie says, I'll wait a little long, but I cannot wait to see your documentary. I'm so glad, Susie. Susie from Bushwick. We have a few Susies tuning in, like always. Beyond the Matrix says, my Puerto Rican mother used to give me bustelo con leche when I was a little kid con pan. That sounds good. Bustelo, which is an old Puerto Rican coffee brand with some pan, which is some bread. Great combination. Pan sobao, which is that sweet bread from Puerto Rico. Very soft. Very nice. Let me know. Well, those ferries can move. Yeah, those ferries can move in today's rough waters for New York City. Snow tomorrow night, says Vita. Oh, yeah, it just might snow. Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. The weather outside is frightful. Oh, it's so delightful. I'm not sure if people have seen yet the Batman trailer. There is a scene where the Penguin in that trailer appears to be in his own penthouse apartment. And that penthouse apartment looks very similar to this one. The one with the clock on it. That's actually a penthouse apartment right there. I think one of the most expensive in the neighborhood Dumbo. I think Anne Hathaway lived in this building at some point. Let me know if anyone has seen that trailer or check it out. And let me know if it does appear to you, because the movie doesn't seem to be shot too much in New York, but they do use a lot of New York exterior shots and combine it with CGI to make their own Gotham City, which is a fictional city. And they're using a lot more New York than the Christopher Nolan ones, which used a little bit more Chicago as their base for Gotham. Thomas says, my daughter is singing with me. Singing with me. I'm not singing. This show, there's no singing whatsoever. Singing is not allowed on Urbanist at all. This is a zero singing channel. I'm not sure where people are hearing this singing from. Don't know. Ron says that those kids own their penthouse. Well, I wouldn't doubt it. Those kids definitely are very wealthy. George says, "Oh no, here comes the Spider-Man references." Spider-Man does not feature basically nothing in this area, unfortunately. It goes all the way to the Statue of Liberty, which apparently has a huge Captain America shield on it. All right, let's catch the ferry. Let's catch it. All right, right over here, ferry. All right, thank you. They're coming towards me. Is the ground still wet right now, says the Joker. Indeed it is, the Joker. Beyond the Matrix says, Ariel would do great voiceovers. One man, one desire. A man, a search for the greatest coffee in New York. Susie says, I don't like rough seas. Susie, aren't you Scottish? Isn't this what the Scottish seas are like, but times 2 in roughness, because they're a lot more rougher in Scotland. The many times I've been to New York, I haven't been on the ferry, Texas Rose. Well, Texas Rose, it's time. It's time you go on the ferry. Field says, why is New York City named the Gotham City? Field, if I am correct, the Gotham City name comes from Washington Irving, who was the writer of Sleepy Hollow, the writer of The Knickerbockers, A History of New York, of Old New York, and many other famous stories centered in New York City and in the New York area. He also wrote The Legend of Christopher Columbus, and a lot of people think that's his real story. Most of what we know of Christopher Columbus is actually invented by Washington Irving. So I think Gotham came from him, if I'm correct. Or he popularized the term. Let me know. I think Gotham also comes from the fact that during that time in the late 1800s, mid-1800s, especially mid-1800s, there was a lot of Gothic architecture being built here. So I think that might be one of the reasons. But there's definitely a full story on that, which I don't know fully off the top of my head. If you can name a ferry, what would you choose, says Bear. I like that most of the ferries have a pun attached to it. There's a tooth fairy. I would love to call one a fairy tale. That would be nice. Cynthia says, is the ferry already running to Coney Island? I'm under the impression that no, that's not open yet. So I don't think so. I don't think it's still running to Coney Island. But I think it's very soon it will. Seems Glasgow fills in for Gotham City. It does, Gary. Yeah, it does, yeah. Especially, I think, in this newer version. Train sounds are coming from the Manhattan Bridge right over here. It's funny, I've gotten a few comments from viewers who I think are pretty new to my channel, who said, so-and-so, what you said is incorrect. Why didn't you just Google it? It takes like a minute. It takes like a few seconds to Google it. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're new to this channel, I don't usually carry a second phone. And let alone, I don't really like taking out my phone to Google something unless if it's of the utmost importance. Which sometimes happens in other areas of the world where I do carry a second phone more often, but I don't like doing it too often. And the reason I don't like whipping out a phone and kind of just telling you stuff on top of my head is because these videos are not meant to be rigorous historical lectures or guides, so to speak, like other vlogs. Vlog you can edit afterwards. These are meant to be hanging out with a virtual friend that happens to really love history, architecture, and urban design. So that is more of the vibe I give off with these live videos. And to me, I don't really like hanging out with friends who take out their phone while hanging out with them. I don't like that. To me, it's a pet peeve. And I'm sure a lot of people feel the same. And even if they don't consciously feel that, they probably feel it. You feel when someone takes out a phone, you feel like you're not there with them anymore. So that's why I don't do that. Ladies and gentlemen, yes, this stuff can be easily Googled, 100%, but I don't like doing that. Hit that like button, everyone, and let me know if you're on Team Like. Helen says, yeah, the same. Yeah, let me know if you're the same. Oleg says, scholars left the stream. S. Bodhi says he's joking. Everything Ariel says is 100% accurate. Sandra says the art of conversation is now lost due to mobile devices. It is. It is. That's why I insist on making these live videos without a phone or a script or too many notes. Sometimes I carry notes, especially if it's a historical tour, but not too many notes. So I insist on making it that way because not all conversations have to be 100% accurate. And while video, yes, there is a certain responsibility when making videos to provide information that people can trust. I don't think all videos have to be that way. Yeah, all videos don't have to be that way, especially live video. And not all videos, like a podcast doesn't have to be that way. A sit-down conversation video does not have to be that way. You don't really need to have too much rigor in terms of informational accuracy with every single video. Maybe with the history video, definitely with the video essay, definitely with the documentary. For most part, you do have to have some type of rigor with it. But I don't think every video needs that. Some videos can be about the art of conversation and hanging out without the worry of saying something that might be construed or might be not as accurate as people would prefer it to be. And I've gotten comments from people saying, why do you even post a video if you got this such and such wrong? But it's not always about being right. It's just about hanging out and having a good conversation. And sometimes you learn more from a great conversation than from information. Sometimes having a good conversation, I would say, dare I say even most of the time, a great conversation, you can learn way more about any type of subject on a deeper level than reading a Wikipedia page or reading some type of informational reference book. That's why the world of podcasts is so popular. The podcasters in conversation are also not going to have a bunch of notes or fact checking, but they're having a conversation. So it's not to mislead, but to have a conversation, that not everyone's going to be an informational repository in their heads. So I think that our conversation should be kept alive. So yeah, welcome everyone to who's new to the channel. Keep that in mind. And beyond that, one more last point on this. I think the art of speculation is lost. Nowadays, a lot of people online are afraid to speculate out loud, to deduce, to figure out aloud online, or even with friends. I've noticed this also when talking to certain circles, like people who are involved in academia. There's a certain fear to speculate because they fear that saying something that is inaccurate will bite them in the ass later. But I don't think we should have that fear too much. I think it's fun to chat with someone without pulling out your phone to get the exact answer, but to enjoy having a conversation where you speculate what could be the answer, because it gets your brain working in a critical way. So just like that question about Gotham City, I don't know the full story off the top of my head verbatim, but it's nice to speculate and to deduce why it could be called Gotham City, because it gets your brain working in a critical way. You start pulling out words together. You start really you start seeing the patterns with any type of topic. You start seeing those patterns. That's why I love talking about urban design. This is not as a rigorous video as many other great channels out there, like not just bikes or B1M. There's great channels out there that are much more rigorous in the preciseness and the specificity of talking about urban design. But I like talking about urban design in a casual way, because you get something different from it. All right. William says, nice walk, spoiled by too much talking. William, well, welcome to the channel. This channel is a whole lot of talking. A lot of talking. Joe says, bro, don't let them get to you. That comment definitely comes from a good place. Don't let people get to you. When you're online and posting comments, you end up getting a barrage of people saying the same thing or something very similar. So to merely say don't let them get to you, it's in most people's lives, you're not putting content to the masses. So your course, what a colleague might say in your workplace, you can easily kind of brush it off because there's only one person. But when you start getting a barrage of comments like that, it will get to you, and it's okay if it does. It's okay if it does. But I think more so, it's important to verbalize why I do a thing, because it helps people understand who might not know, because we are definitely limited options when it comes to online content. We have so many options out there, and everyone expects all content to be the same, or content to be exactly the way you want it to. And I think it's important to verbalize that, not for the haters, but for the people who want to enjoy something like this, but don't quite get it yet. it's important to sometimes lend a helping hand and say, hey, this is why I do it. It's like the great artists of the Impressionist era or the abstract era. Some of them had to explain and did explain why they painted a weirdly shaped figure or put just a bunch of dots on the painting, or there was other people out there who did explain it for the public. It helps people appreciate something, so keep that in mind. So right here is this beautiful sail-shaped building, and my friend Yusuf Onder, who is a vlogger and an architect, who I used to vlog with a few years ago, he actually worked on this building. It was so cool. I mentioned it in one of my vlogs, and he said, "Oh, hey, I worked on this." James, will I go by Nelson Sullivan's house? Nelson Sullivan's house is in Meatpacking District. Yes, maybe one day. I'll show it. Someone's flying a drone. Jimmy says, I'm not sure that title with your photo as a thumbnail. I did not pick the thumbnail. The thumbnail is automatic. Ron says, being able to express helps to deny those toxic people to get under your skin. Marina says, we love you. Trust me, I have a group of haters right now. I'm also a content creator. It's hard to just let them get to you. Indeed. Dave says, nice to be out and about here. Yeah, it is. Susan says, being watched. It's hard to, the drone, they're filming the waterfront. It's a good time of year to do so because there's not that much people watching. James says, do you have a PlayStation 5? It isn't that type of conversation. Is Brooklyn Roasting Company still DUMBO? I don't think so. It is a big shame, but it's no longer in DUMBO as far as I know. Let's go over here. Oh, the museum is no longer here. Oh, that's a shame. The Brooklyn Museum used to be here. And, ooh, pro tip, there's great pancakes here at the Clinton Street Baking Company. One of the best pancakes in all of New York City, in my opinion. They have a restaurant in the Lower East Side, that's where they started. But the pancakes here are divine. What is this building? Texas. Texas, this used to be a roasting plant that has been converted into offices and retail and food. There's a food court in the first level, and there's a smaller food court up there in the rooftop with a bar. Great rooftop bar that you can enjoy some cocktails with the view. Crimson says, any celebrities live here? A lot of them. I would say there's quite a big fair share of celebrities. Let me know any names out there people can find out. Off the top of my head, I don't know any celebrities. This is also the headquarters now for West Elm, at least in New York. I think it might be their global headquarters. So no Brooklyn Roasting Company. They still sell beans. I think they're still roasters, but their coffee shops are no longer open, which is a big shame. They used to have like 3 coffee shops in this area. Jose, did I try Little Spain? No, yeah, I've shown Little Spain like twice. It is nice. It is super expensive. Little Spain. It's partly why I'm a bit turned off from that place. Crimson says Mark Wahlberg probably does not live here. Probably lives in Boston and LA. For the Ignacio's pizza recommendation. Hey, McCulley's, I hope you visited New York. That's so cool. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Virtual tour last year. Uh-oh. Thank God I wore my hiking boots today. By hiking boots, I mean my Converses. Because, of course, those are the best hiking boots. Wearing Converses. Okay, my helicopter ride is coming. Maria says, does Bradley Cooper live here? Oh, that's a good question. There's definitely a few celebrities, big celebrities that live in Dumbo. And there's a few more that live in Brooklyn Heights, like Matt Damon. So yeah, there's definitely celebrities that live here. We found Bob has left his bobettes for some quiet and peace and relaxation here at the waterfront. George says, take your shoes and soaking your feet in the water. That is the key to any superhero origin story, is to step foot in the East River and gain superpowers from all the toxic material that's inside the East River. I would not do that. There's other places in the world to do that, not here. Susan says, glow in the dark feet tomorrow. George says, you'll wake up with duck's feet tomorrow. Susie says, my body. Yes, indeed. There's so many possibilities by simply dipping your toes into the East River. So many things can happen. One thing I wish New York City would do, take a page from Venice, is to have water taxis. Let me know if New York should do that. It'd be so cool. I know there's like a water taxi ferry service, but I think they should have legit water taxis where you can just hop on to different areas of Manhattan and Brooklyn. Does Chelsea Clinton live in Dumbo? I think Chelsea Clinton is based in Brooklyn Heights, I think. James says, what's your favorite pizza place? My favorite pizza place is... One of my favorites is right by here, is Giuliana's. I think has the best pizza in New York by the pie. But there are a lot of other great pizza places. If you don't want to wait too long during peak tourist season, go to Ignacio's right over here as well. The pizza I would gravitate to the most, in my opinion, that's the best pizza by the slice place. These are the next best thing, says Field. Well, yeah, I still prefer a water taxi. I think it's kind of cool. Am I the one person who likes Garibaldi's not quite the... Wow, we have 541 people tuning in. Slam that like button, everyone. People should not always criticize or judge people, be mean or disrespectful. No one is perfect in any way, says Patty. Indeed, I agree, Patty. Yes. I have 500 people tuning in right now. If I were to say one message, think twice when you comment something. I'm not just speaking for myself, but for all the content creators out there. Think twice before you comment something, especially if it's negative, especially if it's personal and negative. Think twice before. I can just imagine living there and hearing that train all the time, though it's probably very insulated. Carol says, was it Italy or Greece that you took a water taxi? It was Italy, Venice specifically. Greece, I don't think had water taxis, though there were ferry services between the islands. How many bridges connect Manhattan? I think it should be 22 bridges, just like the movie. Though there are 4 famous ones: the Brooklyn, Manhattan, Williamsburg, and Queensboro bridges are the famous ones. McCulley's left a $10 super chat. Thank you for opening up our eyes to New York City and Dumbo. We love your content. Can't wait to return in 2022. Oh, I'm so glad, McCulley's. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you. That's so awesome. Thank you so much for the kind super chat. So round of hearts for McCulley's for a whopping $10 super chat. Unfortunately, I can't go live on Facebook. I'm so sorry, Facebookers, if you're used to going to Facebook. I hope they fix it. They keep changing everything with Facebook. Huge round of hearts also for Carol, who tunes in. Carol McGregor. She is a very generous PayPaler. So everyone, huge round of hearts for Carol. Very, very generous PayPaler. Gold star right next to her name. So round of hearts for Carol as well, who's tuning in right now. Well, she tunes in a lot, but Carol, I don't often see you comment, but thank you so much for your very, very kind PayPals. That's so kind. What?
You're amazing, man.
Oh, thank you so much.
All your TikToks. You're the one that goes around explaining all the cool parts.
I do, yeah.
Dude, you have some of the best videos out there.
Oh, I'm so glad.
I love watching it.
Oh, thank you so much, man. Have a good day.
Enjoy.
Bye-bye. So shout out to the guy who just said hello. He said, I enjoy your TikToks. That's cool. Oh, cool photo opportunity here. Look at that reflection. Oh, that's awesome. Look at that. Ooh, I like that. Lots of nice feedback. Ariel says, Susie, yes. I'm always glad to be making TikToks. Andrea says, talking about bridges, there should be a bridge or a tunnel connecting Long Island to Greenwich. Ah, yes, that would be nice. Greenwich, Connecticut. Yeah, there has been talks to make a bridge to Connecticut. Greenwich would be difficult because the residents there are very, very well off, and they probably would not want such a bridge. So that probably won't happen. Chris says, how many followers do you have on TikTok? I have 480,000. I think, yeah, 480,000 right now. So I'm close to 500K, close to 500,000. So stay tuned. Incredible view, says Zena. Yes, it is indeed an incredible view. And Kay's on her way to New York City. Kay's indeed visiting New York City. I love the train sounds. Yeah, the train sounds are nice. They definitely are nice. Looks cold out here. It's a bit cold. Yeah, it's about 47 degrees. What do you think of the Rogers the musical as Cook? Cook is referring to the fictional musical from the TV series Hawkeye and Spider-Man No Way Home. Hawkeye actually features an entire full number of a fictional musical called Rogers the Musical, which is based on Captain America's life. Really, really fun musical. I kind of wish they would post the full thing. So Ariel, if a short lady meets you and says, "You're not always accurate," that would be me, says Sadia. How many followers on TikTok do you have? I already answered that. I was brought up saying if you can't say something nice, say nothing at all. Also, I believe travel rules are changing on the 7th of January in the UK. How so, Janice? Do let me know. What are the travel rules that are changing in the UK? Let me know. And oh yeah, that was cool entering Venice by water taxi. Indeed it was. So everyone stay tuned on Friday, 3 p.m. I'll be doing a once a month special philosophical chat where you can ask me anything beyond travel, urbanism, food, or history. Anything beyond those topics. I'll dedicate probably the first 10 minutes to urbanist related questions, but after that you can ask me literally anything on Friday 3 p.m. for the philosophical chat. Thank you everyone so much for tuning in. I'll leave you with these views one more time. I'm watching on my smart TV so I can see the amazing views on big size. Let me leave you with the views. Integrity is best kept in silence, says Chris. Indeed, I better start studying. I have trouble thinking of questions, says Susie. Well, it is a philosophical chat, so you can ask literally anything. Anything in the world. But Susie says, but what do you want to ask us? I'll be there. See you on TikTok, says Susan. Wilmy says, much appreciated. Thank you, says Texas Rose. My pleasure. One more time, here are the views of Manhattan and fog. Who's a celeb that follows you on TikTok? I have a few. I have Rob Lowe, who's a mainstream celebrity, and one of the more famous YouTubers, Casey Neistat, follows me as well. And I have one more, Margaret Cho, who might not be as famous, but if you grew up in the 90s, you definitely know who she is. So I have 3 celebrities that follow me on TikTok. Rob Lowe, famous actor from the 1980s. Margaret Cho, who's a very famous comedian and actress from the 90s, mostly on television. And Casey Neistat, who's one of the most famous YouTubers in the world. Is Tim Gunn following you? Tim Gunn, I don't think, has a TikTok account, but he definitely seemed interested to learn more about my TikTok when I met him. Carol says, check the news about not testing for the UK. Is it finally going to happen? Are they removing the restrictions finally for the UK? Oh, that sounds like I'm getting excited. Oh my God, I hope that's the case. Crossing fingers that UK finally starts removing those restrictions. That sounds like really great news. I'm now really, really hyped. I will just pre-departure test. Oh my God, that'll be a breath of fresh air if that ends up happening. So everyone, soon I might be crossing the pond, and no, not crossing the pond over to Lower East Side, but crossing the pond over to the UK. Neil says UK is removing testing and isolation. Really? Yes, Boris said it today, Carol says. Oh my god, who called Boris? Let me know. Which one of you called Boris? Thank you so much for finally calling Boris. That's so kind of you to do so. I appreciate that. So give a round of hearts to that person who called Boris. I don't know who it was. It was someone here after nearly 2 years already. 2 years asking my very, very loyal viewers to call Boris. Because I know someone out there knows Boris personally. Now the next thing is to have Boris on the live video, walking around in the windy day. That'll be the best time to interview Boris. So thank you so much for calling Boris. Don't come to Scotland yet. It's too dark and too cold, too rainy. Everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. Keep being awesome and always keep on exploring. See you 3 p.m. on Friday. Have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.